Hoeven, welcome to the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good to be with you, and I'd like to thank both you and Ranking Member Murkowski for holding this hearing today, and say that I very much look forward to working with you on the Energy Committee and, of course, with our fellow members, not only the senator from our neighbor state, Senator Franken, but Senator Manchin and I go back, I don't know, 6 years or more working as fellow governors, and worked on energy issues and worked through National Governors Association. So I very much look forward to working with you on these important issues, the energy challenges that face our country, and I see it as an incredible opportunity. Senator Franken was kind enough to refer to some of the progress we've made in energy in North Dakota, and we do produce a lot more oil and gas. We're over 100 million barrels a year now. 10 years ago, though, we were not producing much oil, and we were in fact declining in our oil production, and frankly, oil companies, if they hadn't left the Williston Basin, they were leaving. And we worked very hard. And of course, a lot of the talk at that time was that, that companies weren't going to do exploration in the continental United States. They were still doing some great work up in Alaska, but really we're going to other places around the globe for their not only their exploration activities, but also production and refining as well. So we worked very hard to create the right kind of business climate that would stimulate not only oil development, but other types of energy development as well, the clean coal technologies, renewables, wind, biofuels. We're making a lot of progress, and it's not just about producing more energy that we ship to great states like Minnesota and other places, electrons as well as oil and gas and biofuels. But it's very important for our economic growth and for job creation. So I see that same opportunity for our country. And my question to you is, what should we do? What should this Congress do to stimulate energy development in all sectors? What's the most effective things we can do to stimulate energy development in this country across sectors without picking winners and losers? I mean oil and gas. I mean electricity from coal, hydro, other sources, biofuels, wind, nuclear, you name it. But across all sectors, what are the things that we can do that will be most effective as a Congress to stimulate energy production in this country? And I would particularly like you to focus on non-revenue measures, because we find ourselves with a bit of a budget challenge these days. So particularly the measures that don't cost money. So I'm not talking about, direct subsidies and so forth, but the kind of legal tax and regulatory measures we can put in place to stimulate energy development most effectively. And I'd like each of you to respond to that if you would.
I'll start off. And I'll steal a phrase from a book of our chairman, Dan Yergin, when Churchill 100 years ago switched the Royal Navy from coal to oil. He said security is in diversity and diversity alone. So in terms of pursuing different strategies, a singular approach probably isn't the most appropriate fit, but multidimensional policies that focus on supply and demand. And some of the trends in place, as you alluded to, Senator, if they continue, they will help both on the demand and the supply side. North Dakota is one of the, as you well know, one of the key reasons why in 2009, the United States had the greatest increase in oil and gas production anywhere in the world. The United States did in 2009. In 2010, that growth trend continued, and that's due to what's happening in North Dakota, but also Pennsylvania, other relatively new players on the oil and gas side. In terms of continental energy security, let's not forget about Canada. When we think of foreign oil, we think of something distant, far away, unknown. I don't think of Canada that way. 21% of our oil now comes from Canada. It's by far the biggest oil supplier. So thinking about continental energy security, if the same trends in oil and gas continue, that will play an important role. And on efficiency, the fuel economy standards that were renewed, strengthened in 2007, and then again in 2009, I believe. They are going to play a very large role in keeping U.S. oil demand below the 2005 peak. So I think consistency and a long-term approach and a multidimensional approach on demand and supply is something to consider.
What percent of our petroleum consumption is provided by the U.S. and Canada together? Do you know?
Well, Canada is about 2.5 million barrels per day. U.S. oil, it's roughly probably half, maybe a little bit more. The U.S. and Canada
But of our
combined for oil.
total consumption, what percentage do we cover between the U.S. and Canada? It's higher than people realize, right?
It's probably half,
50%? Okay.
maybe a little bit more, 50 to 60%. And if you include Mexico, it's even higher. If you look at North American energy security, meaning Mexico, Canada, the U.S., you're looking at 70, 75%, something around there.
75%?
Anybody else have a quick answer, and then
No, I just wanted to point to a slight contradiction.
If you want, you can say the top 3 things so I don't violate my timeline. But, you know, what are
we've gone over the
name
time.
1, 2, or 3 things that would really make a difference in your opinion?
Well, efficiency is, I mean, the cheapest barrel of oil is an efficient car, correct? I mean, this is how you reduce your demand, and it's probably cheaper than producing a new barrel of oil. But I just wanted to point a slight contradiction. I mean, if North Dakota has seen its production increase, and it's a great thing, it's because we have very high oil prices. So it's economics which are answering. We always knew about the reserve in the Bakken, but they were never economical. When prices reached a certain trigger, technology was able to come and change that supply function. So having $3 gas and having high production in Dakota goes together.
No question, but the new technologies were vital and will continue to be vital in order to produce it economically.
Absolutely.
Even down to a barrel price of maybe $50 a barrel.
Absolutely. So efficiency, technology, and I would say a regulatory framework which is look at the long term and allow the diversification across the energy sources.